Hello and welcome to the Power of Charms interview series. I have the best job in the world. I get to interview interesting women doing powerful things with their lives. And today I have a really yummy interview. I'm interviewing Barb Gardner, who has a company called Cakes by Whisk. But instead of just being a baker, she is a confectionery artist. And Barb, it's just so fun to have you. We're going to tie in all kinds of things, symbols and philanthropy, but let's talk about baking. How did you get into this?
So I 4-H I think would be the best I was visiting family upstate Massachusetts, and so I'm a Phoenician, so we don't have 4-H here, or if we do, I wasn't involved. So but started doing cakes, just any artsy stuff. And I just thought, this is fun. So that's how it originally started. And then I love art. And when I was 17, I thought, I got to figure some other way of doing art other than like drawing, because I wasn't the best in drawing. So I took a beginning cake class and I loved it, and it was easy for me. So I just kept compounding my knowledge just by more about my learning on my own. I did take one other class, so I knew how to stack cakes, but from there I just could see a picture and figure it out. And that was over 40 years ago.
That's amazing. Did you work for other companies before you started your own? Because you've had several of your own companies that I'm aware of, but did you work for somebody else and get a little experience in before you went out on your own?
Well, I did as a part-time, because I've worked in the restaurant industry for the most part, and florist, photographer, that kind of thing, just because I felt like I needed to be a Renaissance woman. I needed to know everything about my business. And so I did work for one company. It was called A Slice Above. They're no longer in business as a decorator. And I took in my portfolio and I said, all I want to do is decorate. And if that's something that you need, then hire me. And so they did. Yeah.
Well, that was a good move. What you do is so unusual. I mean, it's truly art. It's like you're creating sculptures out of frosting and fondant primarily, are those, and then you've got your cake bases. You showed me a picture earlier. I'd love for you to hold that up right now and explain to people what went into that.
So this was a groom's cake. It is an In-N-Out burger, and it was a double. So it was the groom's favorite. And if you notice the wording, Katie and Mookie, right? So that's what they called him. And then it has their date on it. And so those two are cake, the burger and the drink. And then the fries and the holder are made out of fondant or gum paste, I would say. So you really wouldn't want to, well, the gum paste is the holder and the fries are fondant. So you could eat the fries. When it's gum paste, it gets really hard. So you wouldn't want to do that. Now those In-N-Out ketchup things, those are real. I didn't make those.
So the hamburger, how many flavors of cake are actually in that hamburger?
So there's probably 2. I think the burger is chocolate and the buns are vanilla. And I can't remember what the drink was, whatever his favorite is. So,
yeah. I mean, who would ever think that you could make cakes look so realistic and so whimsical? I mean, it's, I don't think there's a lot of people doing that in the world. I just think, anyway, I just think you're so talented, and it's just amazing. One of the things I wanted to talk about too, and one of the ways that we really connected is that I work with lots of nonprofits, and we did a project for a nonprofit called Icing Smiles. I'm going to hold this up. It's a cute little card. And then this is the charm that we did out of their logo, Icing Smiles. And I have to read the back of the card because it's so special. We understand that the simple things like birthday cake are luxuries to a family battling illness. Our goal is to create a custom cake for the ill child or their sibling that provides a temporary escape from worry and creates a positive memory during a difficult time. And memories have magical powers. Long after the cake is gone, the memories linger. And you have created some amazing cakes for the children at Icing Smiles. Tell us about your work with them, Barb.
And I also have that charm bracelet. I just love it. Yeah, that, I mean, one of my goals is just to bring joy to people through cakes, because we all have celebrations of some form, right? So if I can theme it to whatever event it is, even if it's a birthday, Mario Kart was one of the themes, or one of the ones I just recently did was a video game. I can't think of the name, with the piñata.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm not sure of video games myself.
Anyway, so what Icing Smiles does is that they send out a request, you know, can you do this? And I always try and say yes. I like to do at least once a month. Sometimes I don't get a request every month, but if I can get once a month, that just makes me feel good. It's just giving back and to know how special it is for these kids, whether it be the sibling or the child that is ill. So
yeah,
I've done for both. And so they just tell me how many guests and their favorite flavor and then the theme. And then I get to create, which that's tremendous.
And then everyone is just so delighted. I'm
Yes.
sure it's just the highlight for the child and for the party, as it is not only in that situation, but for all the different events and things that you do. Tell me about your business. Are you geared mostly to individuals, or do you do a lot of corporate things and business things? What's your niche?
I would say it's more for individuals. However, I do corporate cakes, because there's those who have events. Let's say they're doing a promotion, or they're finished a job and they want to thank all their staff, but it might be still a theme because it's a company. And so I just try and I can't think, it wasn't waste management, but it was one of those. And their deal was recyclable cans. And so, you know, the gal said, just do something that's incredible. And so I made a 3-dimensional recyclable can with their logos on it. And so they're like, oh my God, are we supposed to eat this? And
it looked that good.
I mean, yeah, take lots of pictures and then eat it, right? And so those are always fun, or cupcakes or sweets tables, cookies with their logos on it. But and I do more, you know, people say, oh, you probably do a ton of wedding cakes. Well, I do a lot of wedding cakes, but those have to be delivered. So whereas all occasion cakes can be picked up. So that's probably the majority of what I do. And it could be baby showers, bridal, bachelorette, birthdays, you know. First birthdays, we give a free smash cake. Wedding cakes that serve 75 or more, we give a free anniversary cake in a year. You just have to call me 1 to 2 weeks prior to celebrating, and we'll recreate a little 6-inch cake for you at no charge.
That's precious. What is the most difficult cake you've ever made?
There's 2. One was a spinning globe cake. So unfortunately, I don't have the guy. He used to live in my neighborhood, and he loved helping me build like the inside workings for a few of these cakes. But one was it was for a bar mitzvah, and this young man traveled a lot of places. And so he wanted a globe. And I said, I bet I could make a spinning globe. And so I have a YouTube video out with it, you know, just kind of like a quick view. I'll have to post that on my Facebook. but it's like a fast view of how we did it. And then at the end, it's like shows it, and it's all to music. Then the other one was a 3-dimensional R2D2, and that was for a groom's cake. And so it actually stood up and it didn't walk. But
I bet it tasted.
Those were the most difficult, just for the armature part.
Yeah. Well, hey, have you ever entered any baking contests? I see them all the time on TV right now. They're doing some big Halloween push or something. Have you ever done that?
I have. I've been on Food Network Cake Challenge.
I love it.
Yeah, with Andrea from Sedona Cake Couture. She was the main gal, and she asked me to be her partner. That was so much fun. It was filmed in Colorado. We did not win, but we were probably the talk of it because we had some situations. So it was great. And also in town with NACE, National Association of Catering Executives. I can't remember the year, but there were 3 or 4 different events. I can't remember if it was like twice a year or once a year, but I would enter those, and got first place on one and second on another. So, and I think there was 3 cakes total. So that was a lot of fun. And so, and then I've won awards through the Knot and Wedding Wire, and
oh yeah. What a fun industry you're in. If a young woman is watching this right now and she's like, I want to be just like Barb, give her a little advice. Where should somebody start and get into this industry?
So I would say, if you love art, so when you start a business, at least the kind like mine, you really need to be able to do everything, because employees sometimes don't show up. And if you have to count on them to be the artist, then you're not going to succeed. You're going to be stressed. You're not going to perform. You're not going to give your client what they've asked for. And so then your reputation goes down, right? So, you know, I did it all. I used to sleep under my table at night. My husband and I worked opposite shifts. And so he didn't work in the business, but he had his own job. So, and we had, 2 little kids. And so I would worked all day, and then he'd come home, or he'd get ready to go to work. And then I'd come home and watch the kids. And then I would go to bed when they went to bed. And when he got home, like 1 or 2 at night, then I would go back to the shop and I would bake, because, during the day you have to answer phones, you have to deal with all that. So you can't bake it or decorate, right? So you have to do it on your off hours. And there'd be times I'd be so tired, and I'd turn all the lights out. I'd get a blanket and a pillow and lay underneath the table so no one could see me if they looked at it. And then I had my timer right next to my ear, and then the timer would go off. I'd get up. And so, anyway, it's a lot like that. But then you take pictures of your cakes, and then you need some bookkeeping. This is all at the beginning when you can't afford to pay people to do this. So if you have an artistic bone in your body, that's where you start, and you just practice. And at first I charged very little for my cakes. And then as I got better and better, I started increasing my prices. And I always had another job, or I was going to college when I first started. So I never did it full time. And I started out of my home. And now you can have a cottage license. So you can do that out of your home. I just recommend there's no pets, because that is not good to find a pet hair in your
cake.
So treat it as if it's your bakery kitchen, so that's all just perseverance and have a vision and practice.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The woes of the entrepreneur, though, is you end up doing everything, right? Answering the phone, taking out the trash, making the cakes, and
Oh,
then doing all the marketing. So
yeah.
it's lovely because it's your own.
Mhm.
But yeah, for all of us that have our own businesses, we we know
Yeah,
we can make it look
definitely.
effortless, but it never is, right?
And sometimes I'm like, why didn't I do like a simple thing? Like, there was the chocolate chip or the cookie, Mrs. Fields,
Uh-huh.
or the nothing bundt cakes. I mean, that's all they do, right?
Right,
And so you could, or even sprinkles like the cupcakes. So it's one item. But
right.
no, I have to do it
Duplicatable.
the hard way, but I'm creative. So I mean, that I think that would have been boring to me. So
Yeah. I mean, you can
yeah,
either like put together a model that can be duplicated and you make a
right,
ton of money, or you
exactly.
can be more of an artist and enjoy your craft. So yeah,
Yeah. So
decision making.
pick your poison and then just run with it. Yeah.
So one of the things I like to ask people that I interview is if they have a favorite symbol in their life. And it's funny because in your work, you use symbols a lot with all of your creations and everything. I'm sure you have sometimes lots of hearts and crosses and things like that, or even sports things. But you shared with me a symbol that means a lot to you. And I'd love for you to tell us about that symbol. It's a peace sign. And why is it important to you? Why do you like that symbol?
Well, a couple reasons. One is, I want our world to have peace, but it mostly, my older brother was in Vietnam War. And so back then in the 60s, right? And late 60s, I guess, it was all the bell bottoms and the peace signs and the flower power.
Flower
And
power.
so I was between 9 and 11. And so it's like, how fun is this? Well, I still have a pair of earrings, not from that long ago, but that are peace signs. And it just makes me smile and remember all those fun times. I mean, I was old enough, but I didn't care to watch TV. I was always outside. I mean, we didn't have phones, right? So it was
Yeah.
just like,
What do we do without
it
it?
was good times. And you're insulated, from war because it's not happening in your backyard. So that's why, those couple reasons.
I
Yeah.
love that. Have you ever made a flower power peace sign cake
Oh, I'm sure I have.
in your whole repertoire over the last
Yeah,
40 years, right?
my phone has over 17,000 photos, and there's duplicate stuff and there's some family stuff, but my phone has mostly cake photos because I take pictures of everything.
Sure.
And yeah, that's the bad part is, they're not all organized, but I get to go back and I could tell you if I delivered that cake where it was delivered. I couldn't tell you the person that ordered it. I might recollect their image in my head, but if I have to deliver a cake, then yeah, that brings back memories. Yeah.
So when people ask you for a particular theme, like say they'd say, I want a rainbow bridge, or, my pet just died, I want a rainbow bridge cake or something like that. Where do you go to get the inspiration? Do you, do you look at pictures on Pinterest? I mean, what's your source for inspiration to find how you're going to make that cake?
Well, one of the things I asked the client to do is send me any inspiration photos because I want to know what's in their mind's eye.
Right.
I could come up with a whole variety of one theme, but if that's not what they had envisioned, they're not going to be happy. And it's only happened twice in my whole career. Even though they loved it, they said, well, that's not what I was thinking. And I said, but you gave me free reign. So you can't have it both ways, So now I don't make that mistake. It's like, tell me what you envision, and then I can come up with some ideas. If you don't want it exactly like that. and then we can come to an agreement. With party cakes, all occasion cakes, I ask for creative license. So I could get that basic idea, but sometimes when you start putting it on the cake, it doesn't fit because it might be a different shape. They might want more things on that cake. They might want some wording that I don't think it should go on the cake, it should go on the board. So I need that leeway. Now, wedding cakes are a different thing. They want it the way they want it, and that's okay. So.
Are there trends in your industry right now? Like, do you follow trends? Like when I don't know if cupcakes are still real big or not, but I remember there were the cupcakes were all the rage. Did you do lots of cupcakes because of the rage or?
Well, I do follow trends. That doesn't mean I always am using them because again, it depends on the client. And whatever the client will send me, that's great. But I also do go to all those places. I Google images, and then Pinterest. So sometimes just nature, I'll look, or architecture. Especially when it's a themed party and I'm like, well, my kids are a little older now, so I think I need to go check on that visual, of a certain character. But I also do edible images. So if there's something that we want to get it pretty exact, then I'll use that. As far as let me think, you just asked me about, I'm sorry, what did you just ask me about?
I was actually stuck on what's an edible image.
Oh, edible images are, it's a visual, a picture that you can print with edible ink on rice paper. So it's tasteless. So then you can put that on a cake.
Oh, who knew? So
logos that are more I know.
Right?
Yeah, logos that are more intricate, we make an edible image. Yeah.
That's
there was something we were talking about
trends in cakes. I was asking you about cupcakes.
Oh yeah, trends. Thank you. Sorry about that. So cupcakes will always be there. And the difference between my cupcakes and most, I fill them all because I want it to be a slice of cake for you. So you could eat it, like peel off the paper and just put it in your mouth, a few bites, or you can use a fork and just keep the paper there. So that's your little cup. I do not do cupcake cakes. So what that is if you wanted it in the shape of like a dinosaur or a number 2, and then you frost over all of it with a design, that's great. Those are more Albertsons, Safeway, Bash's, the grocery stores. They'll do that. That's their thing. I let them do that.
Yeah, that's not your niche.
No, I'll do an individual design on each cupcake. Yeah.
Well, Barb, I've seen your work. It's absolutely beautiful. I wish that we could sit here and eat some of your things right now, but just talking about it's making me hungry. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, you have a website and it's cakesbywhisk.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Cakes by Whisk, WHISK.
Okay. And then you've got lots of pictures and ideas and everything on there for people.
I do. So not only are there images on the website, you can go directly to my Facebook or Instagram off the homepage and connect that way. I do have a Pinterest as well. Not all my cakes are on there yet. So I would, the Facebook and the Instagram are current photos. I always try and keep those updated of new ones that I'm working on. Yeah. And I, just so you know, I never post until after an event. So
nobody gets to see it pre-event.
Right. Well, the thing is I have clients who follow me, and if it's supposed to be a surprise, I don't want them going,
right.
Yeah.
That would ruin the whole thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that's my cake. Oh, darn. I guess I should ask surprise, you know.
Oh gosh. Well, Barb, is there anything else that you want people to know about you before we wind this up?
Well, if I can make your event special, please reach out to me. I do ask for at least 7 days notice, if not more.
Mhm.
You can email me, you can go on my website. There's my emails on my website, so you don't have to fill out the form if you don't want to. I always like to know how you heard about me,
Mhm.
and just specifics. So let me bring joy to your life. Oh, one last thing. We also do corporate team building events, and just keep following to know upcoming specials for the holidays.
That's amazing. I didn't know you did that. So, and I'm sure that new opportunities of, keep coming as our world changes all the time.
Yes.
But thank you for our time. I wish you sweet success in all that you do. And it's a joy to know you. And it's just really, really fun to think that you can take almost any concept or idea and turn it into a beautiful work of art that you can eat. So confectionery artist, that's what you are. I love it. Thanks, Barb.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.